good morning. Welcome to another M3M live stream. I'm looking for where I put my pen. There it is. Alrighty. So today is a fun one. We're sculpting an Ooze warrior, and it's specifically a request from Jamie DuPont Labos saying, I have two ideas for you, because that was one of my double request months. And this first one is an animated armor inhabited by an ooze. We can see between the pieces of armor his body dripping and a big puddle on its base. So yeah, this is gonna be kind of an interesting one. I think I'm gonna go about this with like kind of more like dwarf proportions. I found some images online that I like quite a bit, and we're gonna kind of just work from there. So yeah, I see Ricky is here. Hi honey. And Sparky Face as well. Good day. Welcome back to both of you. All right, I'm gonna set a timer for 30 minutes and we're gonna get this first draft going. So like I mentioned earlier, I was thinking probably a proportions that are more similar to either a gnome or a goblin. And I'm actually gonna open up my default ZPR that has kind of like my beginning pieces here. So this is really nice. I have two different base meshes, male and female, and then all of my pieces, which just means like, here's a bunch of hairstyles I've made over the years. Here's a bunch of capes and shirts I've made. So yeah. Alrighty. I think I'm gonna go with a goblin proportion. Yeah, we'll work with this one for now. The facial structure is not gonna matter much because I'm just gonna make it into an ooze. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete these. And this is going to be our ooze base. I have skin shade on, and then we're going to pick this kind of light green. I'm not going to dynamesh it quite yet, which just means kind of remeshing it to where it's low poly. I'm going to start looking at pieces here of how I'm going to start dressing up this ooze, and then I'm going to start pulling the forms around it. And I'm also very not sure how I'm going to put this into my library. Usually I put things in based on like D&D categories, like whether it's an apparition or a beast or whatever. I'm not sure if this goes into my bestiary or in my character catalog. I'm not sure. We'll see. I really like these two outfits here because it kind of reminds me of Link from Legend of Zelda. So I'm just looking at all these pieces right now and really thinking what I want this to look like. I think this hood would be perfect. On all my streams, I need to make quite a few assets from scratch, but I always like to kind of do what I can with pieces that I already have. I like this like scarf that we have here too, kind of like it's covering up that he's in fact an ooze. Xander is here, welcome back. Doing a slimy boy today. Yep, pretty much. So it's not going to be human. It's I can't figure out if I'm gonna put this in my bestiary or my character catalog once it's done. I had a certain piece I was looking for right now, and now I can't find it. It's okay, I'll come back to it later. Oh, there it is. I think having this like tall scarf on here would be really nice. Again, I imagine if it's like a sentient ooze, it doesn't want people to know it's an ooze. There we go. All right, creating a little pair of pants right now. And then some big boots on here as well. Kind of clunky. I want to make sure that things don't fit super well. As Xander mentioned, there is like a slime race. So it's if humanoid, it's playable. Okay, interesting. And yeah, it will be humanoid. Is that homebrew or is that actually like canon? I think these, like this lace-up boot would be perfect, and I'll probably put a cuff on the top. Where is my mesh? Alright, these are meant to fit like a human usually, so they're gonna be way too tall for him, but we can adjust that. I do want it to be somewhat ill-fitting, because I imagine that most clothing and tailors aren't really designed for oozes. I'm also gonna hide this shoe just briefly here, and then I forgot to do the first stamp of the live stream. Put this here, and that will go right there. Perfect. Let's keep going. Perfect. Oh, it's in Spelljammer, so it is canon. Okay, well, cool. Then this will definitely go into my character catalog. Thank you for sharing that. I actually didn't know that. I need to catch up with some of the more recent books and releases. Yeah, it's a pretty quiet Saturday here. Had a really good week. Thought I was coming down with a bit of a cold, but I think I've mostly gotten rid of it, which is nice. Alright, coming together pretty good. I don't want to cover too much of the model, of course, because I do want it to be clear that it is an ooze still. I like what we have going on here. It's kind of like this large oversized scarf, and then the rest of the body is just kind of oozing out. This one specifically, he asks it's an animated armor though, so let's start adding some more armor pieces. I might replace the scarf with this, kind of like this collar here. It's a bit more knightly. Go with a more silver color. And then I'll need to remove the ears as well, since I don't think this ooze is going to have ears. And a lot of these facial features I'm going to be removing as well, especially the nose. All right, I think we're all done with this asset palette right here. So we're going to delete this. Now let's give a look at our shirts and maybe add like a breastplate. I think this would be perfect. I find the one that has like the muscles built into it would be kind of funny, but we'll do this one instead. Xander says, so as slime posing can be interesting because it can make more unrealistic poses. That's true. I don't know if I want him to look too deformed, but I'll definitely keep that in mind when I start posing him. All right, we have this breastplate mostly fitted to the model. It still needs a little bit of adjusting. Gonna go with my taper modifier here to give him more of a broad shoulder appearance, and I'll need to refit some of these assets as well. But we're still in this very, very early blocking out stage, so let's keep on doing that. Yeah, usually when I pick my references, I always pick a pose. I totally forgot to pre-plan this guy's pose. If you guys have an interesting pose for this model that again, it's an ooze, you can kind of get a little more creative, let me know what you guys are thinking. Again, still just building up all these forms here, making sure he looks armored. Not spending too much time making sure everything is perfectly fit right now, because I might be replacing pieces, putting in new ones. The hands especially, I want to be oozy and with drip and all kinds of cool stuff. I haven't done a character with ooze texture in a while, but it's one of my favorite textures to sculpt, so I'm looking forward to that. All right, starting to come together. Xander is recommending a pose here and says, I could see a thrust and have the arm a bit longer, something in that nature. Oh, I like that. Something that's not quite possible. I like the rounder shapes of this, but I don't like the armor piece as much as my other ones. I think for the specific model, it's going to suit it really well, so I'm going to try to get this to work. All right, it's starting to come together. Right now I'm going through and adding some poly paint really quickly just to kind of block out where all these colors are going to be. I like that we have some different textures here too. So it's not just a suit of armor. We also have some of these like leather components. I like it. Non-sleepers here. Good morning all. And yeah, green guy. Yeah, so this is going to be an ooze and animating some armor. And we really haven't accomplished that effect just yet, but we're super early on. I got some plans. All right, I think I'm happy with all the pieces that we blocked out here. And now it's time to really start refining what we got and then probably making some custom elements too. Ooze Warrior will be the name for this. Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me on this Saturday morning. I hope your weekend's off to a good, nice start. All right, this doesn't make any sense. This piece right here. I like having the some of these softer elements here too. There we are. Okay. Well, let's start oozifying this. I think it's about time. Fee is here. Good morning. Xander says, sent you some references I had that might be helpful for an idea. Awesome. Pretty sure those are on Discord then. Yep. Oh, these are cool. One of them is funny too. I like that. Yeah, I need to really start, the body is going to start really looking deformed here in just a moment. I just want to get like the rough silhouette done. All right, I think we're going to go straight in and just Dynamesh this entire body. I don't want any subdivision levels. Here we go. We're getting oozy. All right. It feels so weird to have just like this amorphous blob under here, but that is the model. We'll have some pretty clear like eyes. That's it. All the other forms I want to be really vague. So I'm gonna go in with my standard brush here and start creating some of these forms. It's odd because I usually do this kind of stuff with like fabric folds, but in this case, it's gonna be a bit different. I picked these bracers on purpose because they kind of have this like little between the two straps or holding onto his forearm will be a really good spot to have some goop. So to do goop, I like to just pull some forms off and then go in with my pinch brush and then inflate on the ends. And then we're gonna be grabbing some of these forms, kind of adding we wanna show gravity as much as possible without deforming the body so much that's unrecognizable. Chris is here, yeah, good morning. Sculpting an Ooze today that's animated some armor. I think it'd be fun if some of this monster has actually oozed through the bottom of the shoes here. So let's go ahead and grab these feet and inflate them. So I like how the top is coming out, but we're not getting that same effect on the bottom. Especially around the soles of the shoes. Kind of just like he's standing in a puddle, because he is a puddle. Making sure to really round off a lot of these forms, and then we'll add some more asymmetrical elements as we move on. There we go. We're doing the same thing. We're kind of having some of the body poke through. I think it'd be very clever to do the same kind of treatment on this breastplate here. So let's make some really clear tiers. Looks like we got 3. Let's move this on up. And we'll have a very similar effect where some of the ooze just kind of oozes out. I don't think I'd want to be an ooze. There we go. A little bit of it oozing out. And then we'll go through later on and add some of that dripping texture. It's very important that I'm close to the seams of the armor. That's what's really going to sell this concept. And it doesn't even have to be as symmetrical as I have it right now. There we go. Excellent. All right, it's really starting to come together quite quickly. I like it. And then Xander says, maybe some droplets hanging over the cuff of the boot. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. And then dripping out of the belt and the waistline. Yep, love those ideas. Those are fantastic. So let's go ahead and do the waistline first. And it'll be nice because I made this tabard here too, so it can drip over the tabard as well. That way it's still 3D printable, all that good stuff. So we're gonna build up some form here. That works really well in symmetry, but to make this look its best, we're gonna be having a lot of asymmetrical details here. Here we go. There we go. Droop. Oh man, the brush doesn't fit. But no, I really, really like that idea a lot. And if I lost in that progress, I'll just re-implement it. Ooh, Taylor asked, will his weapon be a slingshot filled with goo? I'm not really sure what his weapon's gonna be. I think I was just gonna do a sword and shield because they just described him as a warrior. But I like that idea a lot. And I'm really undecided on what the pose is gonna be here too. So if you guys have ideas for the pose, let me know. I think I want it to be kind of simple. That way it's really, really clear what this guy is. All right, Ooze warrior. And we didn't lose any progress, which is great. I'm going to change my paintbrush here to drag rectangle, and we're going to add a little bit more dimension to the ooze. Just adding some shadows here and there. Something else that'd be nice if I go ahead and add a toy plastic material to this. It won't affect the final 3D print, but it's sure to make it more fun while we do the stream together. How's that? I'm gonna go ahead and bump up the contrast of the stream. There we go. Just make it a little easier for y'all to see. B says, if he's sword and shield, maybe a defensive stance with his sword arm backwards, maybe throwing some goop around. Almost like how you'd see a wizard character with magical stuff around them. Oh, that'd be cool. Xander says, I think if you do sword shield, it'd be an action pose. There where the arm is a little too long to give out the ooze nature. I do like the elongated arm a lot, that idea, especially because my husband and I started watching the Netflix live adaptation of One Piece, and that's kind of just been in my brain, and I think that would fit really well. If the stream's looking a little too blown out, let me know. I kind of brightened it up on my side to make it a little easier for y'all to see, but if it's a little too bright, let me know. Making sure I have a lot of good contrast there too. Pretty happy with this. So we have 2 minutes left on the clock. So this is what we're able to achieve in about 30 minutes, and I'm really proud of it. Xander says, yeah, it is a bit bright. Yeah, because on my preview here, it looks good, but on my own screen, it's a little bright. So bam, bring it down just a little bit. So here's the before and after. Just a little bit helps. And then Taylor says, when you add him to the base, maybe some ooze drops detached from the main body, like he's walking around with dripping ooze everywhere. Yes, I will be doing that, and it's great minds think alike. My requests are even asked for that. A big puddle where its base is. So already gonna be doing that. That's gonna be fantastic. So I don't forget about that though, because sometimes it's easy as I get rolling in this model to kind of forget about some details. Let's go ahead and create a puddle of where this model is sitting. I'm gonna go into toy plastic, fill object, skin shade. There we go. I turn off perspective and then just kind of add a couple drips. Just around the model and then one nice big puddle. Perfect. Just so I don't forget, because it's like such an important part of this model. I guess he's not gonna have normal fists either. He's just gonna be kind of like grabbing weapons with like this little gloopy claw. Alright, there is my timer. Alright, well it's 30 minutes in. Pretty happy with this. Really strong direction already. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on this Saturday. Having a good time with y'all. If you like the stream, leave a like. If you really dig it, subscribe. And I'm gonna take a quick break here, and I'm actually gonna kind of skim for some poses, some action poses. I think a sword and shield would be best, just because the requester mentioned it's a warrior or it's animated armor. I like this paladin-esque feel here, and I imagine he'd be quite the super soldier because he'd be very hard to hurt. So yeah, I'll be right back in about 5 minutes. I'll go ahead and put that in the chat. Returning at 11:40 a.m. Eastern Time. All right, see you guys in just a bit. pose that I'm looking forward to. And now we're going to detail this a bit more and then get right into posing, because most of the detail is actually going to be on the body itself. So let's get rolling. Yeah, I agree with you, Xander. It's going to be really nice because I don't have to like actually pose the hands or anything. I can just take a sword in his hand and call it good. Alright, I'm going to crease this armor here. Looks like it missed a couple spots. Let's go ahead and help it out. Use crease, edge. There we go. Perfect. Now we're going to extrude some poly loops. There we go. Perfect. That way it's extra clear where the armor is. All right, I went ahead and subdivided that a few times. And then I feel like these are missing something. I don't know what I want to put on top. Even just having some lines right here for some structure and direction. Yeah, I like that better. Corey's here, good morning. B says, bevel by crease has been a game changer for me. If you haven't tried it, highly recommend. Is that under the Z Modeler brush? I don't think I've tried that. Might even be under geometry. I know there's like a bevel master or something under Z plugin. Bevel Pro. What did Bevel Pro even do? Clicked on it. I don't think anything happened. Maybe it's thinking. I said it exported something. Oh, ZBrush. What did you do? Oh, here it is. It's this whole other menu. Oh, interesting. And then B says it's geometry, crease, bevel. Okay, that makes sense. I'm also now very distracted in this other thing that I found. This is Bevel Pro. This is kind of cool. But I'm gonna do what you said instead. Geometry. Oh, Arch is here. Good morning. All right. Geometry, crease, and bevel. Oh, that's kind of neat. Let's see. That's definitely a cleaner look. I didn't extrude in these loops enough for it to really grab on. Let's do the default crease. Yeah, for this specific model, it's not doing a great job with, but I can definitely see why this would be helpful and really cool. I think I need to crease some of these edge loops here a little better. Interesting. I'm definitely gonna play with that more. I do like that tool. In this case, I really do want that really kind of like hard edge to make it as clear as possible. Have the contrast between that and the Ooze, but that is a cool tool. I'm definitely gonna look at it more. Might even work well for this. Yeah, it's a bit better. It's still really too strong, but I can adjust the bevel width right here. Let's reduce that a bit. Ooh, it's live too, more or less. Okay, I like that. That's cool. Thank you, B. And yeah, B says you can adjust it with the slider there and resolution. Very cool. I like. Saves me a lot of time. I like it a lot. All right, we're gonna texture the pants really quick. Let's add some seams on the side. Yoop. Something nice and simple. Then there's a default stitch brush in here. I think that'd be nice. Just something really plain. Just what a normal human would wear. Nothing to see here. Totally normal. Let's add some fabric folds. And then probably add some tertiary texture in just a second. There we go, just some quick texture. And then I'm gonna go in with more leather look here. Really, really low Z intensity. Excellent. B says, no problem. It takes a bit to get used to, but it works wonders sometimes. That being said, nothing beats a hand-bombed Z-modeler crease, right? Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that with me, though. I'm always trying to learn something new. Let's get some detail on this hood before I totally forget about it. So the bottom part's already pretty well remeshed, but this top part is pretty much not connected. So let's give this some attention. To do that, we're going to add thickness using dynamic. And we're going to offset it by -100 so it doesn't disrupt this lovely silhouette we have. We're going to make it pretty thick, and then I can adjust these forms manually. Got some funny topology right here. Just going to smooth it away. Very good. There we go. I'm gonna keep playing with this bevel tool. This is really cool. I didn't know it updated live. I really like that. Ah, so the resolution I assume is changing like the subdivision level. So go crease. You can change the edge, how sharp. A larger value will move the inserted bevel edge loops closer to the outer portion bevel. Okay, now lower, move it closer to the original. All right, want it pretty close. Yeah, it saves me a lot of time. It makes things look a lot softer. I like it. Why does this need so many points to be high res? My goodness. I'm gonna go ahead and Dynamesh this hood. All right, I want these folds to be a little bit more clear to read. So I'm gonna come in here with my damp sander brush, and really just bring these folds up to be a little crispier. I wasn't really sure how I want to texture this, so I kind of went through and like mumbled through a lot of these folds, and now I'm like, okay, looks better to have clear forms and not. So now I'm gonna be clearing those up right now. There we are. Very nice. I like it. Got a little bit more dimension to this with some poly paint, going in with a darker color and back face mask turned on. I'm gonna turn my intensity up quite a bit so it actually does something. Come on. Nothing's happening. Oh, because I have material turned on but not RGB. That'll do it. All right, add a little bit more dimension there. Nice. And then I'm not certain what I want to do with this cape right here. I think I need to stretch these forms forward a bit. There we go. Just to have them showing at least a little bit. Makes this look more interesting. I like it. We're going to auto group these forms and then separate them by material type. So I'd imagine these little emblems here would actually be a silvery color because they'd be metal. So let's go ahead and do that and then subdivide a few times. Perfect. Hey, Patnay is here. If I remember correctly, your name is Matt. Hey, welcome back. Corey says he does look pretty goofy. It's cool. Yeah, I'm happy with it. This is going to be a really unique one. All right, pretty close to posing here and having our next stamp on the storyboard. Pretty happy. All right. Adjusting these shoulder armor pieces a bit. Very nice. And I haven't added any material to this, so let's go ahead and do that before I forget. Nice and simple. And then you probably should have a back tabber too. I always find it weird when there's only a front. So we're going to duplicate that, spin it around 180 degrees, and put one on the back as well. Slightly wider and slightly longer. Now I need to come through here with some more standard and kind of just add some more of these like gloopy forms. The back of the boots also don't tuck into these armor pieces, so I'll need to adjust that before I get too much further. I haven't been looking at the back of the model very much, so it's about time to be back here and clean up some of these details. Excellent. All right, cool. And I think it'd be kind of fun if part of his face was like melting over. Again, asymmetrical details is gonna be like what really wins this model here. I think it'd be nice if he had just some of his face melting over here. I don't want him looking too like sad and tortured because that's not really the point of the model. So I'm being very careful with his eyes, not make him look too sad. Just want to look a little goofy, you know? Because it's such a fun, charismatic model. All right, there we are. Add some more material to the back of this, that way I don't have any weird 3D printing issues later on. Excellent. God, this model is so funny. almost done with this before we start posing. I definitely need to add some more glop around the knee. As I'm adding more of these like glop ooze, I'm making sure I'm doing it out of symmetry because that's going to be a really nice selling point for this model. Whenever you're sculpting ooze, it's pretty much the same process over and over again. You kind of shape it with the move brush. I like to inflate the tip of it and then pinch the rest. That way you get like that really like stretched appearance. There we are. Excellent. I don't want to add too many other pieces that are kind of like dripping down just because I'm not sure how it's going to affect the pose quite yet. I forgot to set my timer. That's okay. All right, we're gonna add a new stamp. Coming along pretty nice. I'm really, really happy with this. Oh my gosh, it's such a silly model. Let's adjust our lighting a bit. There we go. All right, I'm taking another small break before I pose. We're an hour into the stream here, and I'm just thrilled with how goofy this model is turning out in the best way. So we have this little goblin guy up here, and that's what we started the stream with. And then I went through my asset library, put a bunch of pieces on him, and then started to oozify. So that's where we are now. Pretty cool. This was a Patreon request from Jamie DuPont Labos, and it's a fantastic request. I'll actually be making their second request tomorrow, which is a like dragon princess inspired by the Raytheon armor set from Monster Hunter World. I say Monster Hunter World, but they also have it in Rise. But yeah, I love the Monster Hunter series. I'm really excited to make that tomorrow on stream as well. If you guys are interested in either learning how to sculpt or how to get these models to 3D print yourselves, I have all the links in the description. Even just checking out my Patreon, I super appreciate it. You don't have to be like a paying member monthly. You can join for free and then just kind of be like a lurky turkey, and having a good time seeing my updates and stuff. But yeah, I've been really enjoying live streaming with you guys. I've been doing it for almost a month now, pretty much like 5 days a week. I have the schedule on screen below me as well, which is like Thursday through Sunday, always starting at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And it's been just kind of a nice, consistent thing for me to look forward to. I've shortened up my streams a little bit now. Instead of streaming until I get the model completely finished, I've decided to just stream for a couple of hours, and that way I can get my other projects and commission work done in the other half of the day. But I assume in the new year, I'll have all those projects finished up, and then I'll probably go back to finishing models on stream. We'll see. Corey says, I got a jet for now. He's turning out so good. Good luck with the posing. Thank you, and thank you for hanging out, Corey. I always appreciate it. This has been nice. I think I might make myself some hot chocolate and then come back in our 5-minute break. I'm also slow cooking some pork right now. I'm gonna do pulled pork nachos for dinner tonight. I'm really, really excited for this. So yeah, house is smelling really good. Alrighty. Again, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Yeah, this model's gonna rock. I'm thinking, so this is the pose that I have planned right now. This is from the Pose Archives. I just think this is like fun and kind of aggressive. And then I was thinking this arm that's right here, I'm gonna take Xander's idea and just make it like overly long and kind of just like gloopy, droopy arm. So I think that's gonna be nice. B, also some stuff to work on. Sounds good. Thanks for tuning in though, I appreciate it. All right, actually, let's go ahead and do that pose now. I was gonna take a break and get some hot chocolate first, but kind of feeling inspired by this right now. And I want to just jump ahead and keep working. All right, so to do that, I'm gonna jump into Transpose Master, but first he needs a weapon and I need to button up some subtools. I think having an enchanted sword with some runes on it would make a lot of sense, especially because I imagine there is some enchantment nonsense going on that keeps him together in the first place. I also think it'd be cool if the sword was kind of like an extension of himself. And that's going to be positioned somewhere like this. So right now I'm getting my references pulled up on my other screen as well. Get this going. All right, it's being a bit silly, so let me go ahead and pin my references to this board we have. There we go. Perfect. So yeah, another timer for 30 minutes. Let's see how much we can get done. Doing a quick scrub and seeing, make sure none of these are too high res. Like this is 500,000 points, these boots, and they really don't need to be. So let's go ahead and bring that down to 1/4 of the points. Awesome, looks good. All right, jumping into Transpose Master and T-Pose Mesh. So this will be a little tricky because I don't want to disrupt the ooze that I have. But I can always go back in and change anything that doesn't make sense. Right now I'm using the transpose line to kind of quickly put things into place. I'm going to hide any armor pieces and manually apply them later on because I don't want them to be deformed. It's really, really important that you keep your hard surfaces hard and then any organic surfaces soft. Otherwise, the whole thing ends up looking a little distorted. Perfect. can adjust this foot and that tire like foot blob with it to make sure that we're on the same plane. I have a little bit more leeway with this considering it is, you know, not really a normal body, but I still want it to make a lot of sense. I got a decently strong pose here so far. One of the big things is that I don't think he's leaning back far enough. So we're gonna go ahead and hide some of this, grab at the knees. We're gonna bend this model farther back. It looks really, really silly, but just trust the process. There we go. More of like a squat. Makes the pose feel heavier and more substantial. I love the body here. I think this is so fitting for what I'm going for. It's just really silly. I knew I was gonna like this model as soon as I saw the request on Patreon. There we go. I like that looks a little bit broken. I'm gonna keep it that way. And then we can really mess with those forms there and show that this is Ooze. Perfect. Because I wanted some sort of element that'd make it clear just from the silhouette that this is not a solid man, but instead like a pile of poop. Posing this shoulder is going to be a little more challenging. But I don't have to worry about elbows the way that I normally would. So that'll be nice. All right, let's go ahead and put his sword in his hand. There we go. He's got a pretty awesome pose despite not being, I mean, I don't think he's terribly intimidating, but I imagine it'd be pretty difficult to fight. That's gonna be a really solid 3D print too, because we have a lot of points of contact here. Perfect. And then we can kind of adjust this gloopy hand. You know, it came out surprisingly anatomically correct, which is good. I want to be clear. I want it to make sense. All right, I'd say that we crushed that pose. We got that done in only 10 minutes. Feels good. And I do like this slightly broken elbow quite a lot. All right, let's go TIFO subteeth, and all the changes I just made will be applied back onto my original subtools. All right, so now this is like the really fun part for me. I get to go through and just kind of like oozify wherever I want. It's really important to have a lot of these lines being as straight as possible. That's going to really nail that impression of gravity. Hand kind of looks frog-like almost. This elbow is going to be an important point. Excellent. So now I'm starting to build up some of this ooze shape on the back. I definitely spend more time paying attention to the front details of my models, but it's always good to make sure that I'm doing regular 360 turns of my model to make sure there's something interesting all the way around. One of my favorite parts about this model is this like ooze puddle right here. I think that's coming out really nice. I think this model will have a custom base then. such a cool model. I'm just thrilled with this. I'm very lucky that I feel like my community is just so freaking creative. I'm so glad they share that with me. I've been doing this request board since May now, and it's been quite a hit. It's been a win-win for everyone, I think. And then Ricky says, "It's looking cool. How do you do this in hour 20? Yeah, this was a really quick one. It kind of came together faster than I expected. This will be a nice little short Saturday stream. If you guys have any questions about how I'm sculpting this, let me know. I try to give rough descriptions of what I'm doing. Any of my mentorship students know that you guys can always message me on Discord with any follow-up questions, even after the stream is over. Alright, this model turned out pretty darn solid. There's not really a whole lot left to do. There's a chisel organic brush. I think that's pretty nice in here. It has some fungus on it. So I think I'm going to use that really quick to add up some firmer detail on this ooze. I'm really happy how it turned out, but I want even more clear edges and forms. It's a little too fungusy. There we go, something kind of like that. Something where the paint can catch, and it'll just make it a bit more fun to paint this. As I mentioned in a lot of my streams, if I don't have something where a wash can catch on, I'm gonna have a hard time painting it. So I make sure to add these textures, honestly, for myself. All right, let's make this paint job a little bit more dynamic, and then we're gonna call this a wrap. This was a really quick stream, my goodness. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on a Saturday. I really enjoy these quieter streams too. All right, I'm gonna change the material on this base just so the render is a little more fun to look at. All right, there we are. I think he's about done. Might make the eyes even darker. think that's a wrap. Are you headed out? Sounds good. Just cold. All right, sweet. Well, that is our stream for the day, guys. That was a really quick one. I try to keep them around 2-3 hours. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, we have a lot of time to spare, honestly. All right. Now I'm going to create my splash page, and then we'll call this one finished. If you want to decide what I sculpt my next live stream, you can absolutely do that. I take requests, and that's kind of like how my entire business works, is this live request board. All right, I went ahead and put a link in the chat for that. And pretty much how it works is that if you support me on Patreon, you get a request every month. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. This is a really quick and easy stream for me, which feels good, especially on a Saturday. If you had a good time, leave a like on the stream. And then if you want to see me again, I recommend that you subscribe, or just remember my schedule. It's Thursday through Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. All right, well, that's a wrap, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Bye.